My name is Gina and I am Swedish, but I've been based in northern Norway, up at the North Cape, the last 8 years. Since December, I'm based in Sydney, of all places. I was based in Sydney between 2010 and 2018 as well. So I'm just riding racehorses over here early mornings, and then I'm using the days to train and prepare for the South Pole.
Oh, fantastic. And just tell everybody what the goal is with the South Pole.
My goal is to set the women's speed record. So ski 1,130 kilometers solo and unsupported to the South Pole, and try to do this under 30 days.
Oh, fantastic. And we are going to be digging into your South Pole adventure. But I'm just going to remind our listeners that we actually spoke well over 6 years ago now, because your first episode came out on April 28th, 2020, where you shared more about growing up and walking 3,000 kilometers, the length of Norway, plus doing a solo crossing of Lake, is it Baikal? Baikal?
Yes, Lake Baikal, yeah.
Baikal in Siberia.
That's right, yes.
And we talked all about, your early years and getting into Thai boxing and trail running and the process behind, getting more adventures into your life and cycling the east coast of Australia and spending time living in the mountains and dealing with injury. And then just this incredible 3,000 kilometer journey that you ended up doing and the hiking, but also you shared more about your different challenges and lessons that you've learned. So a lot of time has passed since then. So 6 years. What has been happening over 6 years? Is there a way to sort of summarize it and take us through what's been going on?
I mean, I obviously been based up in North Norway, lived literally with mountains outside my doorstep. And over these years, I obviously spend a lot of time in the outdoor, skiing, hiking, hunting, trail running. Also deal with a lot of injuries through the last 6 years as well. I've been working on the South Pole project for a long time. The financial part of that is obviously very hard. And just been literally learning everything about, winter expedition, spending a lot of time in harsh conditions. Yeah, and obviously taking on a lot of everything from week trips to weekends out in the mountains, hiking, skiing, running. That's probably how the last, I would say 6 years been looking like.
So when did you start thinking about the South Pole? When did you start thinking about wanting to go after the women's speed record? Has this been a long held dream, or did something happen to inspire you?
I think it's probably came to my mind after the Lake Baikal expedition. Must been so I did a Lake Baikal, I was in 2019. Maybe the South Pole came to mind around 2020. I think it was I was looking for another challenge. I'm always wanted to go to Antarctica, and probably saw a few other people that was trying to take on the speed record attempt, and just thought this looks like an fun challenge. I mean, Antarctica is a very special place. It's very isolated. Obviously, you're all on your own, and it would be it is very mentally hard to do a solo expedition there, and then to even then go for a speed record attempt would make it even more challenging. So I just think I wanted to have a bigger challenge than the other expeditions that I been doing. So the Lake Baikal, I was obviously did 700 kilometers in, I think, 14 and a half days or something. And I did very long days, but I never felt that I gave everything. So I think the South Pole would be a real test, where you can test yourself physically and mentally, and very curious on how much I can push myself.
So when did it start getting really serious for you? When had you not only sort of physically committed, but also maybe started to talk about it more? Or did you not talk about it until recently, but had been working in the background for a while? I suppose, when did you really lock into that commitment to be this is not a dream anymore, this is going to happen?
That is probably the last 4 years. I think, must be like the last 4 years or something that I've been like working towards this expedition, and I'm hoping to, like the last 3 years. Well, last year I was working very hard to it, and then I started off the beginning of the year with injuries. So then I pretty fast like, okay, I have to push, maybe think another year ahead. And the year before there, I was also trying very hard to get the financial. I'm still a little bit far off the financial, but I will keep pushing till it's not possible, and then just keep going for the next year if that would be the case. But all the focus is to get there this year in December.
Yeah.
And it's hard because it's a lot of money. It's around 95,000 American dollar just to get there. And then you have all the cost around, obviously, with equipment and flight ticket down to Punta Arenas and the logistic around that. But so that, I think, is the hardest part. Then of course, you're going to be ready for it fitness wise and mentally as well. And it's of course a lot of like equipment that you're going to try and test out. There's always something new coming up, and it's so many other details around. And I just feel like the last 4 years, this is the only thing that's been in my head pretty much.
I'd love to dig into that planning and those details. Like, how does that work for you? Like, are you spreadsheets? Are you Word documents? Are you to-do lists? Are you more of a visual person with big maps? Like, how do you break it down? Like, you've already sort of mentioned, the planning, financials, fitness, the mental side, things like equipment and stuff. But how do you keep everything together? How do you plan for an expedition of this size?
It's a lot of to-do list and documents on the computer with everything from equipment details, Of course, with the speed record attempt as well, you want to go as light as possible. So with every kind of, if there is like that, I look at what clothes to wear, jacket, like I would write down everything, and how heavy is this one and how heavy is this jacket. And I've tried a lot of things like the last few winters, what works well, what doesn't work. So a lot of like spreadsheets on the computer. Same with the financial part of company that I've been in contact with, like everything. Like it's hundreds of companies. Everything I have written down. So it's obviously it's a lot to keep on track on, but a lot of to-do list. And it just goes all over again. I just feel like even if you have gone through a lot, there is always something that you can go through again and change or try something new. And
How do you not get overwhelmed with it? Because I think that's one of the things I'm interested in, because sometimes with challenges, when people look at it, it's suddenly like, it's just a huge undertaking. And then even when you start breaking it down, like even selecting, footwear or socks, or what type of glasses to wear, or the tent or your sleeping equipment, it's just almost hundreds and hundreds of these. They're like big decisions, but they're also like micro decisions as well. So how have you managed to keep the motivation going over the past 4 years? And how have you structured that? Like, is this just something that like every day it's like 2 or 3 hours of admin or researching, or how have you kept the motivation going, and how have you dealt with either feeling like just being like overwhelmed?
It's a good question. So I think first, like obviously, like every day this would be on my mind, and it's quite mentally like tough sometimes, especially when things goes against you a lot. I think in small periods there have been other things to focus on. So like when I had a injury come up last summer, like I literally just took a little break from the South Pole planning and just went all focus on getting my injuries right and focus on like the recovery, rehabilitation, and literally just decided to take like few months off where I did just not do anything with the planning of the South Pole expedition, just to kind of reset. I had 2 stress fractures last year. First one was in December 2024. So I was on crutches till January 2025. Then I was back skiing in end of February, and I did did a 10 days expedition in Sweden. And then I did a few, that was together with two friends. And then I did 2 solo, bigger winter trips in Finnmark in North Norway on skis as well. And I was back running, and then I got a new stress fracture in end of May. So I was pretty much out all summer on crutches. And that second setback with the second stress fracture was pretty hard to deal with. But I was just trying to kind of stay positive and just dig into why do I get to stress fractures, and just focusing on the rehabilitation. So even if I was on crutches, I was still training. I did cycling. I went to the gym, just focusing on staying still fit and strong. And then I guess also through just 4 years, I every winter would have a smaller project or something that would also give a little bit of focus on, but also, you have something to look forward to. And I think that's very important.
Did you figure out why you kept getting stress fractures or what the cause was?
Not really. I done DEXA scans and these kind of things on my bone, and my bone mass is strong and healthy. I obviously do a lot of running, but both stress fracture happen from intervals on the treadmill. So if there's something that causes it or something weird I'm doing when I'm running on the treadmill, I had a running analysis as well, where my running technique, everything is fine. So we don't really know why I'm getting it, but they both happened though from running on the treadmill. So we've been avoiding that now. And I'm working along with a coach. So the program is very, we quicken up very slow, and I don't really know why. Working very hard on my nutrition part though. So maybe I wasn't eating enough carbs before. If this could also be a reason, I was always eating a lot, but maybe not enough carbs with the amount of exercises I was doing. That's the only thing that I can think about that maybe could cause it a little bit. So I'm very on top on what I'm eating now, and especially here in Sydney when I'm riding racehorses as well. So I'm starting 5 a.m. in the morning, and I'm riding horses till 9:30. So that's 4.5 hours that I'm sitting on the horse just riding, and then I training in the afternoon as well, running or gym. So just trying to eat a lot. And not being afraid of eating unhealthy carbs, so just fast carbs as well. It's hard, but I think maybe the nutrition part could have something to do with it as well.
I think, coming back from injury can be one of those really frustrating and annoying times, especially when, maybe when things are just going so well and it's just this is the last thing. I don't have time to deal with injury at this moment in time. How do you handle that sort of setbacks? When things haven't gone to plan, things are outside of your control, you're almost back to square one again. You're not being able to train or do what you used to do. Mentally, how do you handle that?
You know what? It's surprisingly handling it very well. I just think in my mindset, I'm just gave a day to just feel really terrible about the situation, especially the last stress fracture. And then I was okay, so the situation is what it is. I got a new stress fracture, and it's not going to help if I'm going to be a bit depressed or sad about this. Just have to dig straight into what can we do to make this better? What can I do? So obviously I cannot run, I cannot walk. I have to be on crutches. I cannot stand on the leg. So it was on the feeble. I had a stress fracture. So I can ride my bicycle. I could go to the gym. I could do a lot of exercises still in the gym without putting weight on my leg. I did a lot of training on the ski erg machine, but on one leg. So I was resting the other leg on top of something. Could still work my upper body strength then. So I was still working very hard to try to stay fit. Obviously, when you're also having an injury, you don't want to train too hard, as you also want your injury to recover. So my coach, he set up a very good training program for that. He's also a physio. So I could really trust him and the training program that he set up for me. And then focusing on the nutrition part, if there were any other things I could do to be healthy, focusing on enough sleep and rest. And was also like, just took a little break, as I said, though, from everything, and was just trying to kind of use that time during the day at home to maybe read a little bit about something that would inspire me, or, these things you don't really have time to do when life is busy, when you're at work and when other things just happen in life. But yeah, it's hard, but I just think it doesn't help to be like a bit depressed about it or upset or whatever. Like, I mean, the situation is what it is like. So I'm just really trying to stay positive and just changing the focus and be like, okay. And yeah, it worked. It's hard, like, and I'm still struggling with a lot of small niggles and some small setbacks now as well. I think the riding takes a lot on my body and as well the running. So I do a lot of like trail running events and that during the summer. And it is very frustrating with small setbacks all the time.
Yeah.
But it's also something that you're learning from. That's another thing though. So, you can always learn something out of every little small injury that you have, and you kind of have to work around it and try to find a way to manage your body, how much pressure you can put on, and what can I do for the recovery? Is there something I can change? So I think if you could train hard without getting injuries, it would just been so easy.
Back in 2024, you with a team of women did a crossing of Svalbard from east to west. I'd love to hear more about that experience. What was that like?
Oh, that was an amazing trip. It was first time for me doing an expedition together with other people. Usually I'm just heading out on my own or with my ex-partner. But this time we were 7 girls together. And yeah, I loved it. We had so much fun. We started out on at Agarbukta on east side of Spitsbergen, and then we skied to Isfjord Radio. It's at Kaplin, so that would be on the west side of Spitsbergen. I think it was around 150 kilometers. And of course, on Svalbard is amazing. Like the nature there is just unbelievable. It's so beautiful. It's also a new experience to be around like polar bears, and it's a lot of other. You're on a glacier as well, so it's a lot of other things to be aware of when you're there. The polar bear guarding during the nights was also a new experience, and yeah, it was just so much fun.
What was the biggest challenge while you were out there?
I wouldn't say like it was a big challenge, but of course, like to be in an environment where you know that there is polar bears, that was something new to be aware of. And during the night you have to, so we were 7 girls. At the start we were just 5, and then we had 2 others that joined us halfway. So we had shifts. You had to go up twice during the night to watch the camp for polar bears. So you were up for an hour and a half, and then we would just change with next person. And that's obviously, for me, it was fine because I can handle not a lot of sleep, but some people could feel it a bit more, when you have to wake up through the night once or twice every night. It's obviously a little bit mentally hard. It was pretty cold when we started out as well. We had -30 the last 2 nights. And we had 2 girls that did the first winter expedition. So that was also a tough start, to just start with -30. But I mean, we had a very good time together. We were 7 girls with different experience from outdoor life, and we kind of just knew each other from social media as well. So it was 10 days that we really got to know each other very well, could share a lot of fun stories and things like this. But the polar bear guarding during the night, it was so much fun. I think like before doing the trip, we were expecting, that you'd be out there sitting still or you just walk around, and it will be a quite boring time, but it literally turned in for us to be maybe the most exciting part of the trip. We were like writing things in the snow. We were like playing games. So like when the next person came out, you went out there to see what the other person had written in the snow, or you can like join into the game. We were like playing 3 in a row, or there were like always something happened. So the time went very fast. I mean, you don't have your phone like today, you know, if you have waiting for the bus or whatever, you're always on your phone. But out there, you don't have the phone signal. It was cold, so you have to keep moving around to stay warm. And you just got so creative to be out there on your own for 1.5 hours twice during the night. So that was a lot of fun. And the next morning we would talk about how that polar bear guarding went. And it's like we all been together, but you've been there on your own. So that was a lot of fun.
On your South Pole trip, obviously, it's a solo challenge that you're going to be doing. You're going to be over there for approximately, well, hopefully less than 30 days on the challenge. Have you thought about how you'll manage like your emotions when you're over there, manage being solo for that length of time in such an extreme high pressure environment, and what are the tools, I suppose, that you're going to use to manage your feelings, your emotions, your motivation, what are the things that you've been thinking about?
That's a good question too, because I just think when I set myself that goal, I know already before going there. I think this is so important in any kind of trips that you're doing, actually, to kind of see yourself in this situation. Like, so you mentally will prepare yourself before that it will be hard, it will be lonely, it will be, of course, very tough. You will feel broken. I think that's very important. So when you get there, these things is not coming as a surprise. I mean, I've been out on my own before, and I know that, of course, your motivation will go a little bit up and down. But usually for me, things goes pretty smooth. Like I have very small parts of my expedition where I feel like, ah, why am I doing this? Or I don't, you feel like that you can't go more forward, or you're in pain or whatever it is. But the goal is there, and I would always question myself like, okay, so if I stop now, what am I going to come back to tell everyone? That I couldn't be bothered to walk more? Or it's like, am I that sore that I cannot move forward? No, I'm moving forward fine. So like I would just question myself all these questions like, is there something wrong with me? Can I, like, what's the reason for stop or something like that? So, yeah, it's hard, but I just think also you have the goal, so you just question yourself like, well, I could not forgive myself, to not reach that goal when I have set it. I think that's like, you're so motivated to reach that goal. You worked for so hard, so it's just the only thing that's in your mind.
You've got an Instagram account where you share like lots of your photos from horse riding and training and your different expeditions. And one of the words that seems to pop up quite a lot, or that I seem to see, is around discipline. So you've got a couple of quotes there, like the pain of discipline is lighter than the pain of regret. And I suppose for you, like that word discipline, how do you remain disciplined? And yeah, what does that mean to you?
Yeah, so I mean, and that's with any goal that you set yourself, or with the training, just like maybe with my running journey. Like when I'm standing at the start line at a race, I want to feel that I have put in everything leading up to this race. If I will take a day off because of, or a day off there because of, or not putting in the training I'm supposed to, I know that I have not put in the hard work. And to reach this goal or be the first person over the finish line, you have to be more disciplined than the other people behind that start line, I guess. And it's the same with training for an expedition or whatever. Like you have to just be so disciplined to reach that goal and to feel that you have given your everything. I have so many days where my motivation is not there, and I would rather just take a day of training, or I would feel like to socializing a little bit more with friends, or it's the weather is not very nice, so you feel like, oh, I don't really feel like going out for that run today. It's cold and windy, or I'm tired, been at work all day. So definitely motivation is not there every day, but then you have that discipline. And also with having a coach, I think it helps a lot, because if I don't do the training one day, like, what would I tell him? That I just could not be bothered? Like, that doesn't sound very good. So yeah, I will always just remind myself about that. I will really annoy me if I don't do the training session, or if I don't do this. And I always question myself, like, why would I take a day off, or bad weather is not a good enough reason. And sometimes you just have to get out there and get the training done, and you will always feel very good about it after. Then, of course, you also need to have a balance in life, I believe. So, I mean, it's very important to socialize with friends and do something else as well. But I would plan this around the training program. So, the training that are planned has to be done. If I know that there would be a day for fact that something will go on, we will plan the training program around that day. So then I also feel that it's fine to take that day off, or having an easier day or something. I also believe, I mean, you're gonna train hard, but you have to train smart as well.
I agree. I've just got a new pair of AirPods, and you can get a quote engraved on it. And the words, obviously, you're limited to characters. And I just put on "do the work," and I think that links in really nicely to to that discipline, to that showing up. To You've got to make that commitment if you want to achieve anything. You can't just sort of think about it. You've got to get out of bed, do your strength training, but do your recovery, and yeah, just be disciplined for what you want to
To
achieve, and
achieve,
just
yes,
yeah, and just get after it. And it's like, I think sometimes half the battle
definitely.
is just, to be honest, is showing up, even when you don't feel like just showing up.
Yeah,
And
definitely.
getting out there is so, so powerful.
Yeah, no, you don't get anything for free in life, and that's with, I believe, any goal or a dream that you have, that you're gonna have to work hard for it, and you have to deserve it. And if you wanna be the best, or like if it's a record you're gonna break, or if it's just that your dream is to get to the South Pole, or if there is, like, I don't know, like a job position or whatever it is, you're gonna have to do the hard work before. Like, you're not gonna get anything for free in life, and you will have lack of motivation. That's for everyone will have that. But it's like you said, you have to show up, and you have to put in the hard work even when you don't feel like it.
Yeah. I always remember somebody talking about motivation in a way, and I can't remember the exact phrasing, but it's almost like motivation is like a hot bath. Like, the bath is not always going to be hot, it's going to cool down eventually. And actually, what's more important is the habits or the rituals that you create and you stick to. So that linked in us into doing the work, into discipline, and just like showing up, because motivation does just ebb and flow. And one thing for me, that I notice, if I look outside and it's rainy and it's cold, it's like, oh, it's like, no, it's like the motivation can extinguish really, really quickly. And I suppose, taking back to the South Pole, when are you going to know that you are going in 2026? Is there a date that either the final payment's got to be made, or the date where it's going to be like, okay, I may have to postpone this for another year if you don't get the financials in? When does it get locked in for you?
Yeah, so basically, like, the financials should be done by August. You would usually send the equipment over in the beginning of September. It is possible to push this a little bit longer, but I think if I see, like, in December that this is not, no, sorry, August, that this is not going the right way with in the financial part, I just think I will do the decision to postpone it by then, because of the speed record attempt, I just feel like I want to have those build up month as well before to be not stressing about the financial, and I don't want to get to the start line and the last 2-3 months has been a little bit of an like an unorganized nightmare, and you're standing there and everything just worked out. I think, and also with of course the equipment and all the small things that's gonna get ready to send over, I really want to be organized like a few months before going, which is hard. A dream would be to just have things financial ready by like March, April the same year, and you could literally just do all the focus on the training and that. But it's so hard with the financial part that I just feel like that's 90% of the expedition almost.
What are you doing to get sponsorship? Because I think you're almost going down two routes. You're going for like corporates, but you've also got like individual kilometers that individuals can sponsor as well.
It's pretty much just right now that's like a small amount towards it, but yeah, it would be like to looking for company and like that kind of sponsorship. It's been hard. I think of coming over to Australia, I'm hoping to kind of, I'm not going to say it's easier over here, but it's a little bit about the people you surround yourself with and like, meeting the right person, somebody that knows somebody, or a lot of what I understand goes through contacts. And obviously living up in North Norway, which is a very small place, it's very hard to my way to reach out to big companies there was basically through phone calls or emails, where I think maybe here in Sydney it's a little bit easier to bump into people and make contacts through that. I just came back here in December, so it's taken a little bit of time for me to settle down here and get into everything and kind of navigate a new life over here. I thought I was going to settle in a little bit faster than I did, to be honest. But I do really enjoy to be back here. So yeah, I just think it's all the time being on top and trying to talk to people, meet people, talk about the expedition.
Yeah. And you've got to constantly talk about it as well, and probably and have your elevator pitch. Yeah.
And I've been a little bit bad about it too, because it usually is like my friends or someone that would mention it up in, and you're like, oh, you have to tell what you're going to do.
Have you got a T-shirt you can wear with sponsor my solo expedition with with a QR code on the back that you can just wear around Sydney or while you're riding the horses?
I don't have that yet, but it's actually something that I just thought about that I will do now when I'm here, because I also do a lot of training around the Centennial Park and that here on the bicycle. So I'm actually been looking into a few kind of companies where I can get a print on both T-shirt and for like a running top as well when I'm out doing the events. So it's actually on the list to get one here.
The never-ending to-do list.
Yeah, I know. So I think that will also, like you say, with the QR code, people could just scan it and they could read about the expedition.
Gina, how can people connect with you? How can they be kept up to date with your adventure and follow along with your adventure to the South Pole? Where are you most active on social media?
Mainly on Instagram, which is my name, Gina Johansen, I think 91. And I also have a Facebook page that's Gina Johansen, and then I have my website as well, ginajohansen.com.
Fantastic. I'll put those links in the show notes so that people can follow along. And then, Gina, I'd love for you to share your final words of advice, final words of wisdom for other women out there who want to step outside their comfort zone, who want to dream big, take on a new challenge, to escape the ordinary. What words would you like to share? But please don't say just do it. Anything else apart from that?
So some words that I like to end like my talks and that with, that's when things goes as most wrong and they are at the toughest, that's when the best stories are created. And like for somebody though taking on an outdoor challenge, like things will go wrong, things will be tough, but that's when the best stories are created. So like having that back of the mind when things goes wrong, because if everything just goes smooth, you're never going to have a story to come back and tell. So maybe that would be words to use when you're out there, though, already on your expeditions or on your trip. Because if everything goes smooth, you're not going to come back and have a funny story to tell. You will always tell about when things went wrong or when things were tough. That's just usually what you remember. And you can many times laugh about it after. So, maybe I just leave it with these words.
Gina, thank you so much for coming on the Tough Girl podcast, and best of luck with your next expedition. I'm so excited to follow along.
Thank you so much.
Hey, tribe. How are you all doing? I hope you're all keeping super well. Happy 4th of August. Happy Tough Girl podcast anniversary. The Tough Girl podcast has been going for 11 years. 11 years. I can't believe it. I don't even know where the time has gone. It has been filled with adventures and challenges and amazing interviews with incredible women all around the world, which is fantastic that I'm able to share these stories with you. So normally I would be doing like a solo reflections episode, but in this instance, I'm going to be saving that for October, when I'll be sharing more about the GR5, which I'm currently out on at the moment. So if you're not following along with that journey, then please do go and give me a cheeky follow on Instagram and Facebook at Tough Girl Challenges. I do daily updates where I share the distances, the highlights, the challenges, how much money I've spent, where I come from, where I'm going to, or what type of accommodation I've stayed at. But 11 years of the Tough Girl podcast, and to be honest, I could not have done it without you, the listeners, without you, the patrons and supporters of the podcast. It makes such a massive difference, knowing that you are out there believing in the mission to increase the amount of female role models in the media. I have done a social media post, and there is also a blog post going up on the website with just a few more sort of thoughts and reflections about the 11 years. And basically it's just more along the lines of how privileged that I feel to be able to interview and share these incredible stories of amazing women just doing these phenomenal adventures and challenges. If you are brand new to the Tough Girl podcast, then please do go visit the website toughgirlchallenges.com. And if you are just looking for a spark of inspiration, you can honestly click on any year that I've got from 2015 all the way up to 2025. Even if I click 2018, for example, which I'm doing right now from my laptop, I can look through and see some of the different episodes of the women that we've spoken to. Ali Bailey, first woman to run across a 100-mile wide frozen lake in Mongolia. We've spoken to Loretta Henderson, who quit her normal life at 36 and, having never cycled before, set off to cycle around the world. Jen Scotney, 36, vegan, ultra runner who works as a human rights lawyer. We also spoke with Jane Harris, 51, talked about her life, travel and completing the Marathon des Sables. Jane is also the founder of the Adventure She magazine. I've also, in this year, I'm just literally just picking a few names here and there of women I've spoken to during that year. Kiko Matthews overcame Cushing's disease and the removal of 2 brain tumours to become a Guinness World Record holder as the fastest woman to row the Atlantic Ocean. Honestly, it's just, you pick any year, you scroll through the different names of women, have a little read about what these women have done. It's just inspiring. I certainly find it very, very inspiring. So a massive thank you to all of the women who have joined me on the Tough Girl podcast. New episodes go live every Tuesday at 7 a.m. UK time. And when I have the time and capacity, there will be a few bonus episodes coming out on a Thursday at 7 a.m. UK time. So just make sure you hit that subscribe button. If you'd like to support the work that I do, then please do visit Patreon, patreon.com/Tough Girl podcast. But 11 years. Little challenge for you. Tell 11 friends about the Tough Girl podcast. That would be amazing. Tag 11 people on social media and encourage them to listen to the Tough Girl podcast. That would be absolutely awesome. All that's left for me to say is, wherever you are, whatever you are doing, give it your all. Give it 110%. Get after it. Go for it. Believe in yourself, because I believe in you. Take care. Lots of love, and I'll speak to you soon. Bye.